So this is a new series called Clear Examples here in IDT, where we use certain individuals to see type. And we're going to start with Bill Marray, who's a comedian / actor, SI pillar with any short anchor inferior. And as a guardian, he is an attached constraint narrator, introverted double attached perceiving type. And what you will notice him being a perceiving type is not really reductionistic, but hyper-focused on the narrative in relation to the tangible experiences. Now, him being a perceiver type, what you're listening for is this attached, nonchalant, guided experience where he's utilizing what exists within the world to see what works for him, but at the same time presenting himself in a way to where it's very much calm and just like existing. And as he's speaking to the interviewer, you would hear a casual back and forth into what life means for him, let alone what he wants to get out of it.
Did you read the book?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you read the book before you accepted the role, or did?
No, George told me George told me the story of the movie a year before while eating, pasta and salad. And I just went, oh God, that sounds so good. But then, I thought, I wish George would have asked me to be in that movie. It sounds so good. And then 9 months later, he said, are you busy?
And you said?
Yeah, I'm not busy. I mean, I'm busy, but I'm not that busy.
Not that busy. Did you like the character?
Yeah, it was great. It's a sort of a composite. We didn't name anyone. We didn't use anyone's name, but, it was a handful of men, and you put them together. The character was great. I mean, the character as it was written by Grant Heslov and George
Right.
was just a wonderful character. Every actor in the movie has great stuff to do. Every actor is given
it's a hell of a cast.
A home run swing.
Think about it.
A couple of home run swings throughout the film.
Yeah. And how does George work as a director?
George is extremely well prepared. George comes to work in a great mood every day. It's the lightest set I've ever been on, really. I usually feel like I have to be the one that keeps things light. I'm always trying to calm people down or loosen them up. George was and Grant, they were both hilarious all the time. And you put all those people in one place. We got more tall tales and lies and stories to tell, as John says.
The making of the movie is more...
You'd stop, you'd shoot a scene, and then you'd stop, and then you would just balderdash for like 25 minutes and just laugh. And really, you'd laugh until you hurt. It was that hard, because people are pulling out their best stories to just throw them over the top of the previous one. And
you can't top this, can you?
And you could, and people did top them. It was really fun. It was really like the Old West.
Yeah. So already what I'm noticing through the dialogue is a concentration on details, just very much knowledgeable on what has happened, not just around him within a particular place in time, but very much knowing every little change that happened around him. And this is a person who's more of an attached constraint narrator. You're going to see attached seeker destroyers have a little bit of this as well, them both being perceiver types. The seeker destroyer is more so looking at how to impact the environment, whereas the constraint narrator is just living in it, and anything almost that goes within their guidelines of their space and time, they have a hard recollection of those tangible events that's occurring.
So what was it about the life of having all these people work for you, agents and the like, that you said, oh no, that's not what I want to do. I'll have a phone number. You can call the phone number. I'll hear the message, and if I want to call you back, I'll call you back. I'll take it seriously, but I don't need all this other stuff.
Well, that became too much. I remember hearing Ellen Burstyn say, I had a dream that I was being drowned in a flood, and I realized it was a flood of people, and she had all these people living around her and doing all this stuff. Yeah. But I found that the phone, like I'd be in my home, and the phone would ring, and it would ring and ring, like 30 times, 40 times. And then it would stop, and you go like, who in the hell was that? Yeah. And then 3 minutes later, the phone would ring, and it would be 30 or 40 times. And finally, I'd just walk over and go like, who is this? And it would be, oh, hi, is he there for Michael? And I'd go like, you've got to get another job. And it was just like that someone would, their job was to let the phone ring 6,000 times in the hope that someone would answer. I thought, this is just.
And if they haven't been able to find you because somebody said, go find him, they'll call every 3 minutes.
Everywhere. They'll
You
call
say,
every
"Stop the
place. They'll
phone."
call your relatives. But it just cleans your life out. Just purifies your space a little bit. You don't have to have all these. I mean, I'd rather choose my own distractions, than
Yes.
have someone else.
Well, you're in charge of your own life.
Yeah.
In a big way.
More than
most.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I meant in the beginning. I mean, you have, in a sense, defined the kind of life you want to have.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's.
What's not there that you want to get to?
Oh, I think I'd like to wake up better. I was thinking,
Really?
talking about with
Waking
someone
up is hard?
yesterday who suggested, why not try, just try in the morning and just keep an eye on what you do when you wake up. I wake up sometimes and I go like, God damn, this pillow's good, or God damn, I wish I were, with that person or something, I wish I were somewhere else. Instead of like jumping up.
So this was a good example in speaking with Bill as an attached constraint narrator, his opposing seeker destroyer detached side, which is NE, and with FE. And it's more so, it's just the dreamy like nature, which comes in and goes immediately. So he goes back to what he does naturally. But every once in a while, you'll hear him kind of like spur up in the moment this idea that something could happen if he was just to imagine it more. And, when he gets into these situations, it's still perceiving. He's a perceiving dominant who is battling with perception because there's a natural imbalance there. And to go about it will be going towards his building state as a wise builder to incorporate more of his TE in order to connect more so to a typhoon. So what you're looking in the fixations is you want to try your best to try to achieve or get to typhoon. And the best way to do that is to just become more well-rounded individual, utilizing your vortex in order to tap into the channel in that response to typhoon versus cyclone, which is more connected to NATO, which is passive and naturally imbalanced.
I suspect whatever she was saying to you, you knew it somewhere. You do know that inside of you.
Well, it resonated. It rang a bell inside of me, a bell that rings a lot that says, remember, Bill, come back, remember, remember. This is your life. This is the only one you got. As we always say to my one brother, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is your life.
Yes.
This is not a dress rehearsal. This is your life,
See, that's a great thing to have. You can just wish something and it'll happen.
Well, it starts with a wish, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah? So, like I had a wish that I could do a movie that was sort of romantic.
Yeah.
And then Sofia Coppola asked me to do this Lost in Translation, which was sort of a romantic movie. It was about love, even though I wasn't in love with Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. She was in love and struggling, and I was in love and struggling. So we talked about love. It really was about love.
For whatever it's worth. I mean, there's some sense of, at the core, integrity about you. There is some sense...
Deep within. No.
I knew you'd ruin that.
Sorry.
But there is a sense of... you get a sense that there's something very real of that. The man who, as you said, squeezed all the schmaltz out of it. That's somehow the core of you. And you've decided in your own mind, in your own life, where that is.
Well, I've learned something about living.
Yeah.
I've learned something about living, and it works all the time. It works in life. It's like I can make it through the city. People say, how'd you get in here? Like I went into the Super Bowl press junket thing the other day in the Sheraton or something, and I just sort of like made my way through. How did you get through all this? Oh, I live here, Yeah. It's like I know how to do things, I can get from this side of the street to the other. I don't get in trouble.
Yeah. But you used to go to things, there's a couple of stories about you. You go into places where you were invited, and somehow being able to look them in the face and sort of say, I belong here.
Well, if you don't feel like you're taking over anyone's space, you know, like you're here to rob their fun,
Yeah.
that you're here to share and contribute, you know, people will let you go, you know.
Have you turned down things you wish you'd made?
You know, I thought about it. There was, no, I've never turned down anything I wished I'd made. I turned down movies that I knew were going to be successful, but I never turned down anything I wished I'd made.
They had all the ingredients of commercial
Yeah,
success.
I mean, like Airplane. I read Airplane. I was like, well, this is going to work, but it's not for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's going to work. I just didn't, you know. And there have been things that I knew someone was going to make, and there are a lot of movies that I've passed on that people have made and they've had great success with, but they just weren't for me.
So tell me what it is that you want that you don't have.
Well, I'd like to be more consistently here, you know. I'd like to really get on I'd like to just, and I know it's not probably ever maybe possible, but because it's so improbable and so impossible, I'd just like to really see how long I could last as being really here, you know, really in it, really alive in the moment, you know. And you see people, I like to live to be old, you know, so I think I have a chance. That'd be my only chance. It's like, you know, a golfer wants to shoot his age, I better live to be 100, because that's
Me
my
too.
only shot, right?
No, no.
So
That's one of my great dreams too, but go ahead. So you want
so I'd like to just be more here all the time, and I'd like to see what I could get done, what I could do if I really didn't cloud myself with automatic, you know, if I were able to not get distracted, to not change channels in my mind and body, you know. So I were just, you know, I'm my own channel, you know. I was just really here and always with you, you know. That you could look at me and go, okay, he's there, you know. There's someone there.